Oh my goodness. Hope I'm not, I hope you can hear me. Let me just make sure. How is everybody tonight? Hope you're doing well. I'm running late. Can you, my, if anybody's in the room, let's see. I want to make sure you can hear me. All right, maybe that's better. So I hope everybody's doing good. Can you see? Hey, do can you hear me? Just want to make sure that you can hear me and it's not sound funny. Oh, good. All right. So I hope everybody's doing good. I'm running late. I can't believe it. My alarm went off and I was like, oh my goodness. There is an echo. Okay, just how about how about now? Is there an echo? Okay, how about now? Still an echo. I wonder why. I don't understand why there's echo. Doesn't make sense. Oh, okay. There we go. So tonight we are going to be playing with a really fun stamp set. And I'm going to pull it out here. And it is called Hooray for Surprises. Thanks, Stu. And this is a fun stamp set. It's got really pretty images and fun sentiments. And tomorrow, when we do our Fun Fold Friday, we're going to utilize some of the dies because they're actually dies that you can rip off the piece to reveal what's underneath. Okay, so we'll play with that tomorrow. Tonight, we're just playing with the images and some really, hey Kathy, is it still cold and rainy in Minnesota? Hey Cheryl, thank you so much. So we're gonna play with some really pretty designer series paper and the images from this stamp set. So let's get started. Let's do this one first. Now this one, I'm using the Poetic Expressions designer series paper. And this piece here, you can see it's got writing on it. That is actually Nature's Sweetness, which is really pretty. So I am going to disappear so we can start with this card. And I have all my stuff in a container, so hopefully I don't lose anything. You know me when it comes to trying to find stuff. Hey V, thank you so much, Kathy. Hope everybody's doing good. We ended up having to go to the pet store today to pick up some dog food and cat food. Gosh, your dog and cat. All right. So we're starting with a basic white card base, and it's 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. Now you don't have to keep track of the measurements. I will add all the measurements to my blog in the morning. I'm just going to check to make sure this is straight. As you know, when you cut your cardstock, the first piece is perfect. The second piece sometimes is off. All right. We are going to layer this up. Now, let me just make sure that I have the correct layers. I'm looking here. What did I do on the inside? All right. Oh, here it is. See, I have a basket. I'm still losing stuff. So we're using Boho Blue tonight, and this is 5 1/4 by 4. And then, as I said, this is the Poetic Expressions Designer Series paper, and we can find that in the mini catalog. Hey, Karen, thank you. I treated myself. And this is 3 3/4 by 5. Now let's hope I have glue in here. I might have to open a new one. And we're just going to layer these together. So we're going to just layer it on this layer. And it should be about 1/4 inch. This boho blue is so pretty. I love it. It's funny how I love blues, I love greens, I love purples and lavenders. I can't really say if I have a favorite color. All right, now we have our card base, okay? What DSP? This is Poetic Expressions Designer Series paper in the mini catalog. And let me just pull it out here. Yep, Poetic Expressions. So even the second card is the Poetic Expressions also, all right? But it has some really pretty papers in here. Different, just different. They would make really pretty Victorian type cards. But aren't they pretty? Ours. I'm not too crazy about the pink one, although I like pink. But really pretty papers. So that's what I. Hey, Margaret. I don't know if you do either. If not, let me know and I'll send you some. All right. Next, now we went from Monday having pieces, only 5 pieces to our card. Tonight, where I'm layering it up again. The post office loves me, I'm sure. So we're going to add a piece of basic white, and this is 4 1/8 by 2 7/8. And we are going to adhere this to the front of the card, but I'm just going to layer this piece up first. So we have our basic white, then we have a piece of boho blue, 2 3/4 by 4, and then I have another piece of basic white, 2 5/8 by 3 7/8, and this is the basket weave um, embossing folder. So I ran it through and embossed it. And you can use either side. I actually like this side. It looks just like a basket weave. So we're going to layer these together. And I think I have to trim the boho blue just a little bit. You know, when you emboss, excuse me, sometimes it shrinks our paper. So it did shrink it just a little bit here on the bottom. So give me a second. I'm just going to trim that down just a little bit. All right. So now we can adhere this piece to the basic white. And so we're just going to add this on here. So far, easy peasy, right? Just some rectangles, different layers. and some glue. All right, so now we can adhere this to the front of the card. Just like that. All right, so there is our card base. Just really pretty. All right, now here's another piece of the designer series paper, and this is Nature's Sweetness. You can see it has some gold on it and the words. I don't know if it really says anything. There are, if it's a saying or whatever, but I just like the ones with the ratings. And this is 2 3/4 by 1 1/2, and this is the stitched rectangle. Now I'm going to grab my blending brush and I'm going to grab my Boho Blue, and we are actually just going to add some color around the edges of this designer series paper. Now with the glass mat, you can probably see that the glass mat holds some of the color from the brush when we're blending, and you can actually lift it up off the mat and pull it up onto your paper. All right, so you can make that as dark or as light as you want. All right, so it just adds a little bit of color around the edges. Just gonna pull that in a little bit. Looks like the internet is wonky tonight. And now we're gonna stamp. So I am going to, oh, and I think, oh, what did I do with my, see, I have a basket and I still messed up. Let me see what I did here. I might have to, well, you'll have to bear with me, and I'm gonna have to stamp it and do it right here. I know what I did. So I'm taking the birthday cake first, okay? And before I do anything, I'm going to take the Boho Blue and I'm going to ink up the birthday cake, and I am going to stamp the birthday cake right on this piece, all right? And it doesn't matter that it's a little off. The only reason I'm stamping it on here is because you'll notice on the card, I have the candle and the flame, and I wanted that to be a part of the cake that I popped up. So I am going to, since I messed up, let's grab our cake die, and I'm going to grab the little flower die. I could have sworn I die cut this. I'm just going to take that out for the moment. And I'm going to grab a piece of scrap paper, okay? And I'm going to ink up this cake again. And I'm going to stamp the cake, okay? And that's in Boho Blue. And then I'm going to take out some Misty Moonlight. And I have the little flower here. So I'm just going to stamp that little flower. And then I'm gonna set this up so I can run it through the cut and emboss machine. It's funny. I'm so prepared and then I'm not prepared. How crazy is that? All right, so we're gonna line these up. And I'm going to, let's make sure that's straight. Grab a piece of washi tape. Oops. I don't want that to cut wonky. All right, let me just run this through really quick. All right, so here is our birthday cake and our little flower. We're just going to move those over. And we're going to pull this piece back in. Using the Misty Moonlight again. Let's see if I can find this little candle, because it is teeny tiny. Let's move this flower. All right, you can see it's very, very tiny. So I'm just going to ink it up in Misty Moonlight, and I am going to place it on top of that cake. Okay, we're going to get rid of that candle. We're going to pull in the flame, and I am going to grab some Daffodil Delight. And we're going to ink up the Daffodil Delight, and this is the flame, and we're going to add the flame. Oops. To the top. Okay. Hey, Paula, how are you, honey? Welcome, welcome. So there is our cake. I am going to grab a dimensional and the little cake that we die cut, and I'm just going to pop this up right over top of the cake that I stamped. All right. So now it looks like our cake has the candle. So instead of fussy cutting out that tiny candle and flame, I did it that way. Next, we're going to grab a mini dimensional and that little flower. Oops. And we're going to pop this up on the corner of that cake. And I'm going to grab a rhinestone that these are no longer available and stick it right in the center of our cake. Let's pop this up. So add our dimensionals. Let's put one more in the center. It was 44 degrees here today. We went out, like I said, to the pet store to get dog food and cat food and litter, and it was so warm. Oh my goodness. Now we're going to just set this right in the center of our card. All right. Now for ribbon, this is the Misty Moonlight Inner Braid ribbon, and it is available in the annual catalog. This designer series paper is the mini catalog, as is stamp set. Now, like I said, there are some fun dies in this set that, I don't know, they may need a little explaining. I think it would be a little confusing if you do not understand what the dies are for. Let me just pull my catalog in, but we want to just get this ribbon on the front of this card. This ribbon actually is perfect for this designer series paper. And instead of using a tiny glue dot, I'm actually using a large glue dot only because this ribbon is just a little bit bulky. And it's warm in here tonight, so my glue dots are really sticky. So we're just going to stick that on just like that. And I'm going to grab my rhinestones again, and I'm going to actually put them on the four corners. Now, when I was on my different design teams before Stampin' Up, putting my rhinestones or my gems in each of the corners was just like my trademark. Actually pretty nice out, yes. 62! Wow! Tomorrow's gonna be 48. Wow, what a change in temperature. Everybody's gonna be sick again. Alright, so there's the front of our card. But let me just pull the mini catalog in for a second. If you notice, like on, and I don't even know, it looks like my internet is really terrible tonight. But it says open here where you can pull it. There's like little pull tabs. So those are the dies, and I'll explain how they work tomorrow when we do our Fun Fold Friday. Okay. Now for the inside of this card, I just did something very, very simple. I have a 1/2 inch strip of boho blue and 3/8 of an inch of, let's just make sure that doesn't look right. It's a little bit, it's a 1/2 inch, and then it's 3/8. All right. And we are going to grab our boho blue again. And we are going to grab a sentiment. And it says, hope your birthday is wonderful. So let's ink that up. And I'm going to add it right about to the center. And we're going to close this up so we don't have an accident. And then I am just going to add a line of glue. I think I'm going to have to get a new glue. Just like that. And our strip of cardstock. And I'm just going to hold it and push it down against my mat so it's flush with the edge. And grab my glue again. And add this to the center. Let's grab some scissors. If I can get them. There we go. And we're just going to trim this off. You can do it with your trimmer or your scissors. And then I'm gonna grab some seal, wherever you are. And we're gonna seal this. Oh, it ran out. I'll have to use my cheapie. You know, I like to use my seal for this basic white layer so I don't see the glue. Although we did do the glue with the other side of our glue container and it worked wonderful. All right. And then we're just going to add some glue and add this to the center of our card. And there is our first card. How easy was that to make a really pretty card? Yes, Fun Filled Friday. Thanks, Paula. It's gonna be fun because these dies actually are pretty neat. So we'll make a nice fun fold interactive card tomorrow. All right. So let's start with card number 2. We have our basic white card base. Let me just get rid of some of this stuff here. And it's 8.5 by 5.5. And this time it's scored at 4.25. We want a nice crisp line. All right. Then we are going to just want to make sure I have the right layers. We're going to layer it up with some boho blue. And this is 5.25 by 4. Then I have 2 pieces of designer series paper. This is the Poetic Expression. And it is 5 by 2.5. And then 5 by 1 3/4. Now I'm going to lay this piece down first because it's a little larger. And I did it larger so it would tuck under the designer series paper on the top. All right, so we're just going to lay this first piece down and get it on here so it actually looks straight. All right, then we're going to take the second piece and we're going to put it right here on the top. And I'm going to line it up with the side. Just make sure that it is even around the edges. All right, just like that. Now we're going to take a piece of our ribbon. And of course, you know, I don't like tying a bow and wrapping my ribbon. So I am actually going to add some glue dots to each end of the ribbon. And then I'm going to tuck and tuck. All right, just like that. Now for this card, you'll notice that it stands a little further off the card base, and that's because I used the foam strip. They're a little fatter than the dimensionals. All right, so it just keeps it off. And I'm looking for another pair of scissors. Let's use these. I don't like using my good scissors to do sticky things. So it just lifts it off that card base just a little bit more than the dimensionals do. All right. So we're just going to cut this in half. I'm going to put one here. And I wanted to pop this up because this ribbon is actually a little thicker than usual. And I didn't want a bump in my card. So that's why I grabbed these foam strips. So we're just going to put one here. Let's get rid of these. And one here. And then I'm just going to grab one more. So we don't have a saggy middle. I'm going to put one right in the center. There it is. I guess I should learn to put my stuff back where it belongs and I won't lose it, right? So we're just going to peel off all these lovely papers. Do you find that these papers and the dimensional papers get all over the place? I find them everywhere. They must stick to my socks. All right, so now we can take this piece. Oops, we want to put it this way and lay it onto the front of our card. I'm just going to scoot it over just a bit. There we go. Aw, thank you. And welcome. Where are you watching from? I can't see your name because I guess you didn't give StreamYard permission. But you like this card here. So welcome and let us know where you're from, that you like that first card with the cake. All right. So now we have our card base. Let's get rid of these scraps. And I'm going to grab a scrap of basic white. I already have everything pretty well stamped. Believe it or not, this card I do have stuff stamped. So here is the heart. And I grabbed my Boho Blue and just given it a good stamp. All right. It looks so much darker. Here, I already did one. So look how dark that looks, only because the ink is still wet. If I wanted to emboss this, I could add some embossing powder. So there is our heart. Next, I grabbed these really pretty flowers and gave it a stamp. Both of these have dies. And there it is right there after the ink has dried. After I stamp those two, let's move this paper down. I don't want to get ink on me. We're going to grab that Misty Moonlight. Look how dark that is. Wow, the internet is really whacking out tonight. Hope it's okay on your end. And I already die cut it. So you can see that the ink does dry. Okay. Then I did an additional one that I cut in half. I used the other half on the other card and a half on the other card. Okay. I'm gonna put that away. The dies also come with this pretty little sprig of leaves and also these leaves. And I do have a sprig here. I should have one more leaf. Oh, there it is. So this is mossy meadow, these little leaves, and these sprigs are old olive. All right. And they are in our die set right here and here. And here is the flower and the heart. So we can pull in our card base. And what I did first is I took our heart and I'm going to pop it up. Now I'm going to keep the dimensionals close to the center so I can tuck things underneath. Okay. And this is what I want under the heart. So I'm actually going to take this piece right now. I'm going to add some glue. And I'm going to put it right here on the corner of the card and grab the heart and adhere it right there to the front of the card. All right. Then I'm going to take the half of the Misty Moonlight. Now here's one half of this card. The other half is right here. And we're just going to add a bit of glue. And I'm going to tuck it under this heart, making sure that it is tucked. The same thing with one of our little leaves. I'm going to add glue to the underside. This piece of my hair. Just like that. And I'm just going to tuck it right under. All right. Next, we're going to grab the Boho Blue, and we're going to pop this one up on the corner. The way I'm going to pop it up is I'm going to grab a dimensional, put it on one side of the flower, and I'm going to take some glue and add it to the other side of the flower. We already popped this up. So we want to pop up one half and glue the other half. And we're going to take the half of the boho blue flower, add some glue, and we're going to tuck it right under there. And we have two more leaves. So we're going to grab some glue. And while that's still wet, I'm going to tuck it under there. And this one, I'm going to add glue to the front of the leaf. And I'm going to stick it under here and push on it. And the flower will just bring it up off the card base just a little bit. See? Let's grab some gems. One there. I'm going to wait for the other two because I want to just grab a piece of ribbon. And we're going to tie a bow. Now this ribbon is a little bit heavier, so that knot in the center is very hard to get tight. And you know that when you tie your bows, if you can get this knot nice and tight in the center, you'll have nice puffy loops. So we're just gonna trim this one down. And I am again gonna grab one of these larger glue dots. I'm gonna add it right here. And now I can add the additional rhinestones. I'll put one here and one here. All right, so there is the front. Thanks, Karen, of our second card. All right. Now for the inside, I have two basic white layers. The first one, the matte layer, is 5 1/4 by 4. Nope, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, 5 1/4 by 4. Now this one, I am going to, let's see what I did. Grab my stamp, You're the Best. This one I actually did in Misty Moonlight. So I am going to stamp that right in the center. You're the best. And I'm going to grab an additional flower that I stamped. And I'm going to add some glue. Just like that. And I'm going to add it to the bottom of the card. And while it's still wet and drying, I'm going to cut this in half and add some glue. I'm just going to tuck that under there. And then take this one and tuck it under there. Then turn it over. And trim. I gotta remember to fill my seal. So we'll use this adhesive for now. And layer this up. Add some glue. Grab our card. And there we go. Here is card number 2. So remember, ladies, this month's ordering special, you'll get the PDF. Hey, Pam. Thank you. You'll get the PDF for this month's craft box. These are my cards. So you'll get the PDF to create these cards and this little notebook. And you'll get a free pack of embellishments at the end of the month. And that's for any order. No, there is no minimum, no maximum. All right. So thanks for joining me tonight. Remember, tomorrow, Good Friday at 10, we're going to be using the guides to create some fun, interactive, fun fold cards. So thanks for joining. Thank you so much. And I will talk to everybody soon. Have a great rest of your night. You are welcome. Basement Cards by Lori. Hey, Lori. So have a great night, everybody. You're welcome, Kathy, and I'll talk to everybody tomorrow. Bye-bye.